Part 2. The Middle. We entered the beginning of our story of grades with the observation that what goes into grades and gradings can be something of a black box. Even if we know the list of main ingredients that make up the grade, there's a feeling that we don't really know all of the fillers, and we certainly don't really understand how all of the pieces fit together. As suggested in the quote above from the musical Hamilton, no one really knows how the game is played or how the sausage gets made. We just assume that it happens. In this middle section of our story, we will look a little more closely at how grades are made. Making a grade. What goes in? O'Connor has described what goes into a student's grade as often being a grading goulash. We hope that the primary factor influencing a student's grade is academic achievement. That is, evidence related to a student's demonstration of knowledge and skills taught in class. We also hope that those knowledge and skills are closely related to what's contained in the curriculum and aligned to the state standard and expectations. But grades are also often influenced by other factors as well. Behaviors and other factors closely related to student performance in the classroom and believed to impact academic achievement directly, such as conduct and work habits, often comprise a large part of the grade. And then there are also other factors deemed important that may or may not be as closely related to academic achievement at a particular point in time. Students' improvement over time, or the interaction between the student's effort and a perceived ability level also may be factored into the student's grade. And then, of course, there are other things such as extra credit for behaviors that are loosely related or even unrelated to those factors described above. All of these things are part of the goulash that often comprises a grade. What comes out? Wiggins observed that most grading systems conceal more than they reveal. Student performance over a marking period, half year, or even a year is reduced to a small number of categories, sometimes letter grades such as A, B, C, D, or F, or sometimes achievement levels like level 4, 3, 2, or 1, describing students' proficiency along a continuum related to the standards. But just how fine are those distinctions and classifications? What information is gained and what information is lost by such a reduction of data? Making meaning. By design, grades are intended to spur actions that lead to improved student learning and improved student performance. That is, student performance in general, not simply a higher test score. The connection between a grade and subsequent action depends on the appropriate interpretation of the grade. What is the evidence that you use to support your grades? What are the details that flesh out and strengthen the story? Student work often tells the most powerful story. Explaining a student's grade through her or his own work products helps to tie that grade and student performance directly to mastery of the content standards. Similarly, examples of proficient or exemplary student work solidifies the expectations and provides a benchmark for comparison and discussion. Grades are a powerful tool, but can become a distraction and detriment to learning if they are allowed to become the primary focus. It is critical to keep the focus on actual student performance as it relates to the content standards and achievement expectations. In explaining and making use of grades, how do you shift your focus back to instruction and learning? Activity 2. Understanding your grades. We argue that a great deal of information is lost by a reduction of all students' progress and achievement over an extended period of time to a single grade. Consider the grades that you assign for one subject area or course in a single grading period. Identify all of the components that contribute to those grades. Do all of those components reflect student achievement of a particular standard or standards, or are other factors also included? Consider 3 students who receive the same grade in your class. Describe key ways in which their performance is similar and key ways in which their performance differs. For example, have they mastered the same standards? Are they equally prepared to move on to new content? Activity 3. Consider the grades you assign for one subject area or course in a single grading period. In answering the questions that follow, discuss ways that you can make a direct connection between a student's grade and their mastery of content standards. What additional information do you provide to describe student performance within the grading category? Describe the range of performance within each grading category in terms of student mastery of the content standard. How do you shift the focus from the grade back to instruction? Summary for Activity 2 and 3. When attempting to interpret or explain grades, it is always important to consider A. the similarity and difference in the knowledge and skills of two students at opposite ends of the same grade category, whether that is a letter grade or a performance level. And B. students who are on just opposite sides of the border between two categories. Which two are closer in performance? Students at opposite ends of the same grading category, or students just on the opposite side of the border of two different categories? How does that information shape what you communicate about the student's performance, and also how does it shape your instructional decisions for those students going forward?